speaking of MK Often and MK Naomi, I watched the movie Coraline today, and I knew about this movie, but I'd always put off watching it because I knew exactly what it was going to be like, and that I was totally confirmed in everything that I said about this, had thought about the movie. So Coraline is a Neil Gaiman written movie, and I'd always thought it was Tim Burton. I never really looked into it really that much, but it has the kind of aesthetic of Tim Burton, but it's not. But it is Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz, and Alice in Wonderland, and kind of Edward Scissorhands, all and The Nightmare Before Christmas, sort of all mixed into one. So what Coraline does is she is a girl. It's animated, but it's like looks like claymation or whatever, and it's animated, and she is living in a new house in a new place with her mom and dad. And then she kind of goes out to her house is called the Pink Palace. Now that right there, red flags right away, right? Because the Pink Palace is always a name for an MK Often trauma zone. I mean, this occurred. The best example of this was in True Detective season 3. Remember the Pink Palace? Remember he goes down into the bowels into the basement of the industrialist house or whatever, and he's looking for the girl. And the room is pink, and it's a vaulted room, and there's pictures of pink castles everywhere. Bad news. So she's living in the Pink Palace. She goes and walks up a hill. She's trying to find a well with a witching wand, a dowsing rod. And then she's confronted by a local kid with a messed up neck and a three-eyed dystopian post-apocalyptic motorcycle mask. And he focuses in on her. She's followed by a black cat. The black cat, I assume the black cat in the movie is I don't know, is the black cat, somebody tell me, is the black cat just the spiritual familiar of the old woman that doesn't appear? That's the grandmother or whatever of the motorcycle boy. Sounds like Technical Boy in the American Gods. So she's trying to find um this well, and it's in a circle, it's in a mushroom circle on top of a hill with clouds coming over and a view of the Pink Palace. So where's this going? So she goes back down, and then one night she's in this new house. Her parents aren't paying attention to her. Her dad is you know, clacking away. He's clacking away. I use the word clack. It's a great onomatopoetic word because that's the same as the short story that I'll cover finally called Click Clack the Rattlebag. He's clacking away on a computer, and he's like, go explore the house or whatever. They're not paying attention to her. So she goes off and she follows these mice. She ends up kind of following 3 blind mice, Dr. No style, into a secret room. And when she opens the door to the secret room, we see a tunnel, and that she goes down the tunnel. So she goes, it's not a rabbit hole, it's a mouse hole into another world. And the other world is the inverted world of the world she lives in. So whenever we see tunnels in movies like this or in works of literature of this genre, the tunnel represents obviously a few things. The tunnel is number one, it's a kind of a um creeper sex image, which is what it looks like in the film. It's also a regression. It's supposed to be a brain tube into her inner state because she is being infantilized for the brain protection of a shattered mind. Because when the mind is traumatized and shattered, um, it, the brain's defense mechanism is that it regresses and retreats into a kind of a shadow world, and that's how the splintered mind comes about, right? That's where DID MPD comes from. And when she comes out the other side, she's also crossing over into the other side. It becomes a cult. So she crosses over to the other side into a weird world where her parents are the same, but they're dolls, and they have black marble eyes, but they're not marbles. They're buttons. So everything is sewn. She goes through a kind of a Steppenwolf, Dance Macabre, Mask of the Red Death, archetypal dream world ritual of meeting various characters, Alice in Wonderland style, including these 2 tarot soothsaying witch women that live in the basement. And They put on a dumb show, and then finally they put on a kind of an English panto. And they literally, there's one scene where they zip open their skin and they take off their skin suit, and now they're different people. And then they dive into barrels filled with water like an old circus Houdini show. She meets all these various people. It doesn't matter, but but what the movie is truly about, I think, obviously, it's like this is like the most. This is one of the most MK often sub project 119 John Marks movies I've ever seen. It's just another Return to Oz. And my question is, when you watch Coraline, who is this made for? Who are they making this for? Who would, I mean, look, I get it. At least Alice in Wonderland, the original Alice in Wonderland, works because like the aesthetics of it are pleasant, and it's like a classic Diz animated film, right? So it's pleasant. But like, who is this one made for? Like, because some of the subject matter, it's even too spicy and too much for the audience that you think it'd be intended for. But it's not them. They can't be watching this movie. And it can't be like no normal people are like this wasn't made for them. And look, it's made for, I guess it's made for people like us who watch the movie and are analyzing it and go, "Oh, this is dark." Or it's made, I mean, we know obviously who it's made for. It's made as a trauma bonding movie, right? It's that's obviously what it's made for. But on the surface, to sell the movie, who is it made for? I mean, it's crazy. This is just so dark. And so so anyway, that's my very brief analysis of Coraline. I mean, the imagery in it is so bad. It is so dark. It's so disturbing. I mean, everything's creepy and wobbly and circus-like, and it's like Fear and Loathing. That scene where they go into the circus and they're like, "This is what the whole Hep world would be doing if the Nazis had won the war. This is the Sixth Reich." It's like that. It's like it's just total clown world destructo vision. Shouts out to Nom de Plume, says $20. Sponsored fun movie suggestions. Happy Accidents, Box of Moonlight, Barbarians, Wag the Dog, Big Trouble in Little China. Awesome. Thank you for those. Definitely. Okay, I'm gonna mark those down in the old skull. Um, JD has the classic Big Trouble in Little China. There's nothing to say more about that. And just did Wag the Dog. But I just watched Wag the Dog. Maybe we can look back again at Wag the Dog. And then I'll look at the other three as well.